And as we've already seen some of the decks that he runs, most decks should have a way to deal with that, even if he does get it out of turn early. So I don't necessarily feel that it's going to be I think it's going to be more riskier than the reward, you know?
I tried this deck a while ago when he first came up with it, and I ended up taking Mukla out. But the way it works is, you basically play him when after you've already cleared the enemy board, so that he can't buff anything. But the weakness is that if he can just like kill Mukla with a spell or something, and then play a minion and buff it later, or get like favorable trades with the bananas later, it ends up backfiring pretty hard. But it can just win the game outright as well if you play it on an empty board and you can't deal with it. Because it's a 5/5 on turn 3. It's better than like a Druid of the Claw.
I completely agree, and it looks like Curi here is going for quick early drops and gets a lot of decentness. I don't think Curi wanted to see the Soulfire come back in the hand though. But turn 1 Blood Imp is always fun.
This is a nice combo here with the Blood Imp and the Young Priestess, because now neither of them will die to Fan of Knives. And if he uses Fan of Knives later, it won't kill the Blood Imp.
Yeah, absolutely. And playing that Young Priestess early to start buffing that Blood Imp was the perfect play. Puffin already has to deal with this, and it's not going to be easy to do.
The question he's doing right now is if he runs into the Fairy Dragon or just hits him in the face. I think that he did the right thing, because if he swung at the face that turn, he could have got like deadly poisoned, and then the fairy would still be alive.
Absolutely.
This is pretty rough for Curi, actually. The Harvest Golem coming down and him not having any combat unit.
Yeah, absolutely, because you don't want to throw anything away, and you don't want to discard with the Soulfire yet. So
I think he has to Soulfire Mortal Coil it. I don't think he has a choice. And the reason he didn't play the Voidwalker there when he had the mana to do it, or never mind, he had to spend the mana on Mortal Coil.
For whatever reason, even though we're both watching the same cast, you're like a millisecond ahead of me. So
Really?
Yeah, it's weird because we're both watching Curi, but for whatever reason, like when you say it, like I'm getting it the second after it just happened. So just
I might be saying it in advance too, because I can kind of predict what he's gonna do.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem. Oh man.
A lot of people don't use the Blood Imp to fight, but I think it's actually the right thing to do in a lot of situations.
I completely agree.
Some people leave it invisible when they should actually be using it to fight certain monsters. Like right there, he got the Novice Engineer.
And yeah, so now he's able to establish board control, and it's not like it's easy to kill the Blood Imp without having to waste something like an Eviscerate anyway, or next to face, so it's still giving value.
And the other thing is, even if it's not invisible, if they spend their whole turn killing the Blood Imp, like what happened right there, he still has 2 other minions on the board that Puffin has to worry about. So even though the Blood Imp's dead, like he's not really in a good position anyway.
Yep, yeah, he picked the right moment to take the Blood Imp out, and now here the question is, okay, so he's probably just going to drop Sylvanas, or is he going to serve some Cleric?
He would have buffed first if he was going to do the draw plus.
So now it's going to be Sylvanas, and this board is definitely, like, Puffin's going to need to get his area effect options. Like, basically he needs Blade Fury now. That's pretty much what he's hoping for. And when you have 11 potential damage on the board, plus an Argent Commander in your hand, you have to feel pretty comfortable.
I think Puffin is kind of screwed, because any move he makes here is, there's no way out of this. He has to remove Sylvanas ideally he wants to remove Sylvanas before playing minions, and then, but like, if he wastes mana doing that, he won't have any way to stop the onslaught. So I think he's doing the right thing here by removing those two. And then he'll try to isolate Sylvanas and deal with her next turn. I don't think it's going to work the way he's hoping, though, because Curi is so ahead.
Absolutely. Like, whenever you're behind, it's very easy to get more behind. And the fact is, now you still have to deal with a 4-2. You still have to deal with a Sylvanas. You're down in life. I mean, and there's a lot of card draw in Curry's hand between the Novice Engineer and the Power. So, like, answers can still come if they need to come, you know?
Yeah, I think if you're Curi, you just keep smashing face here until he deals with Sylvanas, because the onus is on the Rogue to get rid of that. I think playing Mukla and soul firing the Argent Commander actually wouldn't be too bad.
No, absolutely.
Because like I said before, playing Mukla onto an empty board is really strong, because there's nothing to put the bananas on.
Yeah, but now with that Knife Juggler, I don't know if you want to risk throwing away the Knife Juggler too. Oh, no, he's going to do it. Oh, wow.
Well, he's already got such a board presence that one Knife Juggler is not going to make or break this game, I think.
Oh, absolutely. One Knife Juggler is not going to make or break it, but it's even better if you don't have to lose it too, and now he doesn't. So this is just sad. Sad for Puffin. Sad day.
I think we're going to see like a Defender of Argus. Oh, the Blood Knight. Unfortunately, Sylvanas is just going to steal something.
Oh, wow. Yep, absolutely. So he might get ultra lucky here. So yeah, now obviously you got to run Sylvanas into the 7/7 and see what happens. I think
if you're Curi, you play the Knife Juggler and then the Argent and see if it throws the knife at the 2/2. Because then you could run the Novice into it and finish that taunt off for free.
Absolutely. That definitely, I think, is the most optimal play. But no matter what, you can't really go wrong here. I mean, as long as you run Sylvanas into the 7/7 and grab something that's still so far ahead, it's like you can't feel bad about this.
Yeah, basically just seeing whichever target is hit by the Knife Juggler is going to decide how he does this. Okay, so now he's going to run the Novice into that and then kill it, and then run Sylvanas in and steal one of these guys. Whereas before he probably would have tried to kill the 2/2. I think using Mukla to kill that taunt and keeping the Divine Shield on the 4/2 would have been actually a little bit of a better play.
Absolutely, because killing a 4/2 for a Rogue is going to be a lot easier than killing something with 3 health. But I mean, still, I don't know if you can really go wrong at this point, because you kind of have to clear the board. Because I mean, with the Knife Juggler, you're gonna expect like 2 or 3 knives to just come down anyway. So you have to assume like next turn, you know, the Rogue is only at like 6 health.
Oh, he got lucky. The Knife Juggler didn't throw the knives at the Leroy. That would have been funny.
Oh my god, that would have been awesome.
I've seen that happen before, where they play Leroy with the Knife Juggler out, and then Leroy just dies before doing anything. See, look, this is the power of Mukla, because it's like by the time you can actually use the bananas, the game's already over, because he used Mukla on an empty board.
Dang. And that's always, I mean, that's a sign of just a well-built deck. I mean, when you're Warlock and you're at 22 health and you tapped for a card, that was just domination from like turn 1, you know?
Well, these decks, like the aggro Rogue, aggro Warlock, like aggro mirrors in general, It's decided on the early turns. So usually it's going to be a landslide one way or the other. I would have thought that Puffin would have had the upper hand in that matchup though, because he has Blade Flurry and Fan of Knives in his deck, but it ended up not working out for him.
And he is using the skills of this tournament now to make the deck something like a completely different look. This is,
Yeah.
I think Puffin is probably going to decide to go big. You know what I'm saying, or do something like that, not to try to outrush it. And I think Curi is playing very smart in this switch up to combat someone doing that kind of a change.
Well, he knows, because they told each other at the start, he knows that Puffin's got a Druid and a Paladin coming up. So what he's doing is he's preemptively preventing himself from being countered, because Puffin's going to go and pick a deck that counters aggro Warlock, and he's going to be surprised by this swap, I think.
Oh yeah, that it's such a swap. I'm sure if he felt like a different swap was going to come, he might have gone Murloc, Warlock, or something like that. But the fact that he's going such a late game heavy, strong build, that's going to be a true just like surprise. Which
I think he's predicting that Puffin's going for the Druid next, and I think it's probably a good prediction, because Druid is probably the more anti-aggro option over the Paladin, and the big giants of that Warlock deck that he just made right now are going to be super powerful against Druid, because Druid doesn't have a lot of options to remove large creatures. So
exactly. Because Naturalized tends not to be run, so obviously, what are your options? Your options are like Starfall and other big heavy removal.
You either have Big Game Hunter, or you like Starfall plus Wrath something.
Yep, and Big Game Hunter, even if it is run, it's usually run one of, and since he just played a Murloc Rush, I mean, you might not want Big Game Hunter, you know? Like, you would have to have made the perfect call of how Curi is sideboarding this to do it, you know?
I don't think he's going to have any way, aside from stream cheating, that he's going to predict this swap from Curi. I don't think he's going to see this one coming. I'm honest.
Yeah, it is such a swap. It's like a manic swap. It's like, oh yeah, Murloc. It's like a lot of cheap, quick creatures, no problem. And then it's like going so big.
Well, it wasn't a Murloc deck. It was like the standard board.
Oh no, I know. I'm just saying, like, when you think Warlock now, you think standard, you think Murloc as maybe if you were gonna switch as the possible second, but no, going giants.
He's gonna find out this turn. I'm wondering if he's actually gonna draw a card and not show. Yeah, like, because if he played either the Ancient Watcher or the Doomsayer this turn, he would have gave away that he swaps decks.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, that is really smart. So right now he's just forcing Puffin into still playing like he's playing Rush.
Next turn, when Curi draws another card, Puffin's gonna be on to the swap. He's gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I see what he did," and he's gonna facepalm. Right now, Puffin realized, okay, he's not doing the regular deck anymore.
No, absolutely, yeah. Because if you're doing the Rush, there's no way by turn 3 you didn't drop like 3 things.
Oh my God! Look what he just wrote. That's so troll. Did you see that? What he wrote?
No, what did he write?
He wrote to Puffin in a private message, "Oh my God, worst hand ever," to troll him. Puffin's onto him now. Like, this Mountain Giant on turn 4.
Oh my God!
Oh man,
now Puffin says
Sylvanas though.
Oh my God.
What's he gonna do? How does he respond to Sylvanas play?
That is a question. I mean, like, on one, it's so crazy because either way you're kind of screwed. I mean, the only benefit is if you throw into it, then you can use your own Shadow Bolt to kill it. Oh man,
I think you just soldier through and hit him in the face and play like Ancient Watcher, so that maybe it steals Ancient Watcher instead.
Yeah.
Or even, and then like draw a card or something, because then Because then at least you can Defender of Argus next turn if he steals the giant.
Well, you can maybe play Doomsayer, which actually forces him to deal with Doomsayer, or else everything dies after you hit him for 8.
That's true. You could Doomsayer as well, but I think that just delays the problem, which would be good as well.
No, it definitely does delay the problem, but like sometimes delaying the problem.
So that was a good play, I think.
Boom, and he pulled the Doomsayer out. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Like it forces him like, okay, fine, you wanna attack? You know what I'm saying? Like then you get everything dies. So it creates
I think Puffin just swings. I think Puffin would be suited to just swing at the face and let this go. Because Curi is actually already getting pretty low.
Absolutely. He's already ahead. It's the only way he can 100% get more ahead, and getting 7 more damage down. And not to mention, the golem comes back, so he still has board presence.
He's got to be careful for the Molten Giant and the Argus combo next turn, though.
Yeah, it's true, but he can't see his hand, so he kind of has to just assume, you know what I'm saying, that this is the best play here.
I'm thinking we're going to see Molten Giant, Twilight Drake. Wait, no, Molten Giant, Ancient Watcher, Defender of Argus. That's what I think I would play here.
Well, Molten Giant definitely has to come down. There is a case to be made to play the Earthen Ring Farseer just to get a little bit of health, because, I mean, a little bit of spell power now and a swipe, and it's over anyway.
He wouldn't be able to play the Defender of Argus if he did that, though, and he'd take 3 damage anyway.
True. Yeah, so I guess you're right. It might be... I guess it is going to be Watcher. Nope.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh,
you got to just hope. I'm going to check on Puffin's stream. I'm going to see what he has in his hand. Puffin doesn't have any direct damage in his hand. All he's got is like 2 A-bombs and a couple Ancients of War.
Oh, wow. So that play is actually hyper strong now.
I think Curi might actually pull this out. The 2 A-bombs will bring him to 1 HP, though. But then he'll be able to Jiraxis on turn 9, so Puffin's got to hope to draw some direct damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that A-bomb play, that was very nice.
Yeah, it delays it for a turn, because if he swings with the Molten Giant, it brings the Molten Giant to 1 HP. He could Shadow Bolt it.
The Shadow Bolt is probably the right answer here, or he could Siphon Soul. Siphon Soul. Yep, there we go.
Yeah. He's bringing himself... Yeah, and then he's going to heal himself with the Farseer, I think. Because he's in swipe range right now, and he wants to get out of that.
Exactly. Swipe range is a scary place to be.
I think Curi wins this. The problem with this deck is you basically rely on getting low HP, so all the games are really close. Because you can't actually swing in your favor until you get the Molten Giants down, which requires you to be low HP.
The benefit is with Siphon Soul and Draxus, he has lots of, like...
Oh, yeah. Look at that. The Desperation Doomsayer plus... Man, I forgot what that card's even called right now. The 5/10.
Ancient of Lore, yeah. Ancient of War.
Is that it? That's both games.
Yeah, that's it. It's done. Yeah, they were very quick.
I think Puffin got played by that swap because I checked his hand and he had 2 A-bombs, 2 Ancients of War, and like an Ancient of Lore in his hand, and a Doomsayer.
Yeah, he went total aggro. Ask Curi if he wants to get on the line and talk about it. If not, then we'll see if anyone else wants to get on.